Well, hello everyone, your radar contact, and welcome to another VASAviation video. Welcome to another analysis. And well, first of all, I want to say sorry because I don't have my webcam with me. I'm out of home, so I don't have the webcam, so you're not gonna be able to see me. And also, the audio quality might not be very good because I'm using the basic headset microphone that I had with me. So I'm sorry about that. But this is a video that I really wanted to do. Taking advantage of a video that I uploaded a few days ago about a wake turbulence incident that happened in New York. So Samuel was the pilot involved in the accident, and he sent me an email explaining everything he felt and everything that happened. So he basically was flying westbound following the shore below the class Bravo, and he experienced a heavy wake turbulence from a 777 that was landing in JFK. He suffered a violent and aggressive hit to the aircraft. The battery eventually flipped around. There was smoke in the cockpit, probably a fire. So he didn't doubt, he didn't hesitate, and declared the emergency and proceeded to land at Kennedy. So this is a perfect example to talk about wake turbulence today, and so everyone realizes how dangerous wake turbulence is, especially in light aircraft. And now this situation, we have a heavy wake turbulence against a light aircraft. So we're gonna watch the video. I have the video here prepared and other videos and documents to talk about it, and I will talk about the airspace too. We have 935 Delta Echo here. He's coming from the east, crossing to the west for the New York City.
Kennedy Tower, Piper 935 Delta Echo with you, 900 descending to 5.
So he's 900 descending to 500, and here we have the Sky Vector and the Bravo airspace. So he's going from the east to the west following the shoreline, and we see that this class Bravo airspace shelf is from 500 to 7,000. So in order to stay clear of that airspace and out of that airspace, you have to stay 500 feet or below. So and that is a normal VFR route for in Long Island for all airplanes that want to cross from west to east or east to west. That's I mean, it's the normal flight path, so it's nothing strange there. And also when JFK is operating 22s or runway 4, airplanes VFR targets still fly that route, no problem.
Okay.
Piper 935 Delta Echo, can get afternoon, altimeter 3009. Be below the class Bravo, approximately turbulence, we'll take inbound to the force state.
So proceed below the class Bravo. That's what Samuel is doing. He is descending below 500 to stay clear of the Bravo. And we have the first call from the tower: caution wake turbulence for all types inbound. They are landing for right, so just caution wake turbulence for aircraft.
Good evening. 9 nautical miles right now.
So here we have Air France 006. This is the 777, and he's going inbound for runway 4 right for landing at Kennedy.
Kennedy, good evening, wind 0306, runway 4 right, clear to land.
Turbulence 04 right from 006.
The time is advanced. And also another thing I want to talk about is the letters from the data blocks. So the letters and numbers from the data blocks. We have our France 006, that is the call sign. Then the numbers, this is the altitude, and this is the ground speed. So Air France is right now at 1,300 feet, and they're going at a speed of 160 knots ground speed. Then the letter here stands for the wake turbulence category in this particular ATC system. So B stands for large heavy aircraft. This is a 777, so it's a letter B. This Delta 9961, if I remember correctly, this was a 757, so the letter for that wake turbulence is letter C, and the letter F stands for light wake, light category aircraft. So this is a Piper 28, and this is a Boeing 777 category B wake turbulence.
Last aircraft that just passed, he's now head to heavy 777, caution wake turbulence.
Second call from the tower. Caution wake turbulence. You have a 777 going, crossing ahead of you, going for landing. So caution wake turbulence.
Crossing wake turbulence.
And at some point, due to there's not much traffic going in to land at Kennedy, so at some point a tower clears 5 Delta Echo to climb to 1400 and thus cleared into the Bravo, so 5 Delta Echo climbs.
You'd like to climb out of below 1,400 through clear the Bravo.
Into the Bravo, out of below 1,500, 5 Delta Echo, thank you.
All right, split land.
Caution wake turbulence in this case for JetBlue.
All right, JetBlue 710.
Airframe 6 Heavy, continue on Foxtrot, cross runway 4 left, then turn left on out.
Yeah, we continue on the front approach, we cross 04 left, we continue on Alpha 400. Kennedy Tower, 5 Delta Echo, we experienced a lot of turbulence on that 777. There's smoke in the cockpit, we're gonna like an emergency landing.
Well, continue.
Delta Echo, Roger, do you have Kennedy in sight?
Yeah, we have Kennedy in sight.
5 Delta Echo, proceed, direct numbers running 4 left, clear to land, vehicles be on their way.
Okay, so 5 Delta Echo there experiences the wake turbulence from that 777. Samuel didn't hesitate, no hesitation at all. Declare the emergency, you have smoke in the cockpit, declare the emergency and go for the nearest airport. That is amazing from Samuel, he did awesome right there. And now we're going to talk about a little bit about wake turbulence. So wake turbulence is theoretically created once the aircraft starts creating lift. The wake turbulence will be formed, and that is not entirely true, because as the aircraft is rolling for takeoff at a high speed, it is also creating some wake turbulence behind, because as the aircraft moves down the runway, it is moving the air behind. So that air is same thing as if you are walking down the street and a car passes at a high speed, so you kind of feel that air. That is wake turbulence also on the ground. So, but theoretically, it is said that wake turbulence is only created when the aircraft is flying or when the aircraft is creating lift. Don't mistake with jet blast. Because jet blast is that turbulence created from the exhaust from the engines, and I have a video right here that we're gonna watch, courtesy and from Kai A. Hortman for that video. And we have a 747 heavy aircraft, 4-engine aircraft, very big aircraft, and this is Princess Juliana in San Martin in the Caribbean Sea, very famous airport. I'm sure you know about it. So the aircraft is about to take off, and as soon as the aircraft sets takeoff power, just wait for it. Set takeoff power, and everyone and everything will fly out. And that right there is jet blast. And actually, in this airport, this sign you see right here, this little sign, it says "Caution Wake Turbulence" from aircraft on the runway. And actually, I might be mistaken, but I think there are 2 people in this road. This is a road, so there are 2 people, one person here and one person on the other side of the road, so they control the traffic of that road, and they don't allow any vehicles to cross the runway path when an aircraft is taking off. And I don't know if they're landing, but when an aircraft is taking off, I think they control the traffic of that road, because literally a Boeing 747 could definitely make a vehicle fly out to the water when it's set in takeoff thrust. That is jet blast. Don't mistake with wake turbulence, which is created when an aircraft moves through the air and when it's creating lift. So that air will get turbulent, that air will be moved because the structure of the aircraft will move that air as it flies, as it moves through the air. So that is wake turbulence. Another thing that I want to talk about is when the wake turbulence is worst. And it's said, and we learned, that wake turbulence is worst when the wind is calm or nearly calm. In this case, we see that JFK Tower is clearing the JetBlue to land. Runway 4 right, cleared to land. Wind 050 at 5 knots is nearly calm, so the wake turbulence from a Boeing, from any aircraft, but especially from that Boeing 777, can remain in the area for 4, 5, 6, or 7 minutes. So that is important that we know that. In order to avoid a wake turbulence, first thing we have to do is change our flight path. So if we know where the wake turbulence is or where it might be, the first thing we have to do is change the flight path. So if we can fly somewhere around that wake turbulence and that flight path, that would be great. Maybe here asking for a overfly of JFK, because over the JFK it's not going to be wake turbulence anymore, because the aircraft is on the ground, not producing any more lift, so you are not going to experience that wake turbulence. Another thing that we can do is hold at present position, so do orbits, make circles at present position, wait for a few minutes, and then proceed to with your flight. Or another thing that we can do is climb above that wake turbulence, because the wake turbulence will move back, or will actually move with the wind, depending on where the wind is coming from. The wake turbulence will move and also will descend because of gravity. So what we can do too about wake turbulence is to climb above wake turbulence. When we are landing or departing behind a larger aircraft, when we're landing behind a larger aircraft, what we have to do, if we have a small aircraft, what we have to do is to stay over and above the flight path of that aircraft and touch down beyond the point of touchdown from that aircraft. And same thing when we are taking off. What we have to do is rotate before that point of rotation, so we stay above the flight path of that precedent aircraft. That's what we have to do when we know that there is wake turbulence. Another thing we have to do that right here, and I'm sure Samuel was doing it because he was advised by the tower 2 times, it was caution wake turbulence. You can do nothing. If you experience wake turbulence, you can do nothing, because it is going to be so aggressive. At this point, I cannot imagine how aggressive and how violent that wake turbulence felt on the Piper 28 coming from a Boeing 777. But the only thing you have to do, or actually the only thing you can do, is to stay alert. So so you have time. You cannot know how to react when you experience the wake turbulence. Maybe if it is so violent, your flight controls might not be responsive to your inputs on the yoke. That is another very dangerous thing about wake turbulence. But you can be prepared and kind of fight the wake turbulence at some point, and do your best to fight the turbulence and kind of fight and control the aircraft. Another thing that we can experience, and it's very dangerous, is the wake turbulence will hit your aircraft very, very aggressively. So some surfaces can experience some major damage or even break off. So the purpose of this video is so everyone realizes how dangerous wake turbulence is, and it's not only because it's uncomfortable, because the aircraft moves, and you know, it's like any other turbulence, and the aircraft moves and it will hit your aircraft. But it's also very dangerous because, and we will take a look at it just in a second here with an accident that happened. But as I said, your structure may be damaged, your flight controls might be unresponsive, so you might not have total control of your aircraft to recover and regain the attitude of the aircraft and regain level flight. Just so you see visually what wake turbulence looks like, I have a few videos here. Kudos to Planes Weekly for this video, which is beautiful. You can see right there this Airbus A380 creating wake turbulence, and this is one thing I want to talk about. You can see that swirling motion in opposite directions that the aircraft is forming, and that if you're flying with your small aircraft through that area, I mean, your aircraft can be literally flipped around. It's so beautiful because the image is so beautiful, but it's so dangerous to go through there. This is the vortices that are created in certain conditions of humidity, pressure, and and temperature also. The wake turbulence, in this case, the vortices, can be clearly seen, and again, it's so beautiful, but it's so dangerous. In this case, we have a small Avro aircraft, but this is a Ryanair. You can see the vortices clearly condensed there, so they are visible. And this is something I want to talk about. The aircraft is about to touch down, so remember what I said, the wake turbulence will theoretically disappear when the aircraft stops creating lift. So this is the Ryanair touching down the nose, the attitude of the aircraft is still creating some lift, but as soon as the nose of the aircraft descends and spoilers, speed brakes are deployed, you will see that vortex disappear. So there we go. And that is theoretically when the wake turbulence disappears, but again, that is only theoretically, because as the aircraft moves at high speed through the air, it will still be creating some wake turbulence behind. That's beautiful. It's a beautiful video too. We have the vortices and we also kind of see the wake turbulence behind through the cloud. This video is great. A courtesy of Fluxnag. I think those two words are German, so sorry for my pronunciation, but it's fluxnag.com. This video is beautiful. So now that we know what wake turbulence is and how it is formed, there are a couple accidents and incidents that I want to talk about. And this is an accident this is a DR400. This is I think it's considered ultralight aircraft. So this is a Robin aircraft, ultralight, that crashed behind an Antonov 2 aircraft. Well, this is the video. Let's watch the video and then I will comment on that. So you can see the video just stops here because we don't want to see the crash. But you can see the Robin just flipping around and turning right very, very aggressively. And we have here, it's not clearly seen, but we have here an Antonov 2 that just took off from that same runway. The Robin behind experienced the turbulence, just went through that wake turbulence and was flipped around. Let's see that again. Wake turbulence flipped around, aggressive 90-degree roll to the right. This is something that we have to learn from, and actually they made some experiments, and this video is so cool. We have an Antonov 2 here on the experiment going through some smoke, so we can clearly see the wake turbulence it creates behind. That's the wake turbulence right there, and you can see again those two swirling motions of air in opposite directions, and that is the dangerous area of the wake turbulence, those two cores right there. If you go with your small aircraft through one of those cores, your aircraft is gonna be flipped around like maybe Samuel experienced at some point. Very aggressively, your aircraft's gonna roll more than 90 degrees. You're gonna be upside down very quickly. Your surfaces, your flight controls are gonna be unresponsive, so you're gonna be able to recover from that situation. This is look at that. That's beautiful, but that's so dangerous. Look how that rotates. So these guys, I think this was in well, this is in Germany. But these guys made that experiment from same situation with an Antonov 2 and a Robin 400 experiencing the wake turbulence. So we are on board the Robin 400 here. They are going to experience that same wake turbulence, and that we're gonna see how the aircraft reacts. And you can see right here, man, that's more than a 90-degree roll. So we are nearly going upside down. Because of the air being so turbulent, our flight controls are not going to be responsive to our inputs, and we can even suffer some damage to the structure of the aircraft, and maybe an aileron might be flying and breaking off the aircraft. So, you know, the point of this video is so you realize how dangerous it is. And also I have here another example of an incident, this time with an Airbus A380 and a Challenger corporate jet in the Indian Sea, I think it was, where, well, yes, read yourself. The pilots of a Bombardier Challenger 604 have told accident investigators how they lost control of the aircraft in a January encounter with wake turbulence from an Airbus A380 that caused the Challenger to drop 9,000 feet and roll through several rotations, according to whatever. So this aircraft, the Challenger, was flying west, I think it was east to west, at whatever flight level, whatever altitude, and they crossed beneath that Airbus A380, 1,000 feet below. We have it here. The report said the temporary loss of control occurred about 1 minute after the A380 passed overhead, headed in the opposite direction, about 1,000 feet above the Challenger in Indian airspace over the Arabian Sea. So the Challenger was 1,000 feet below the Airbus A380. They crossed, they were opposite directions, and 1 minute later, the Challenger experienced the super heavy wake turbulence from the Airbus A380. They were flipped around, as we can see here. They rolled through several rotations. They were flipped around and they descended 9,000 feet. If we continue to read, the airplane experienced large control surface deflections and accelerations, and its left engine had to be shut off because of increases in the interstage turbine temperature. This Challenger, I don't know if this is the exact particular Challenger, but you know, this type of aircraft suffered so much damage and G-forces that some surfaces of the aircraft were so much damaged that this aircraft right here was considered written off, and Bombardier it's stated here. The report characterized their airplane as substantially damaged and added that Bombardier had said that the airframe could not be restored to an airworthy state. So it was considered written off, so the aircraft was, not airworthy anymore. And they descended, I cannot imagine how that fell. They descended 9,000 feet while rolling several rotations, spinning down, dropping. Wow, that experience is so bad. So that is the cause. I mean, that is what turbulence causes. I think that's everything. I had some notes here just to not forget anything to talk about, but I think we really covered all about wake turbulence and the dangers of wake turbulence. I want to say thank you one more time to Samuel for reaching out VASAviation and providing all necessary information, even the audio tapes and even some pictures and videos that I was able to also to include in the video. If you want to watch any of these videos that I have used, they are all linked down in the description. Again, thank you very much to Samuel for sharing his experience so we all can learn about wake turbulence, and we all, especially we pilots, we can be more alert when we are, hey, caution wake turbulence. It's not something that controllers say because, I mean, caution wake turbulence, you really have to be cautious and be alert when wake turbulence is around your aircraft, especially when you're flying small airplanes like the Piper 28. So again, thank you very much to Samuel. I hope this was useful and this was helpful, so we can learn about wake turbulence and the dangers and how dangerous it is. So again, thank you very much for watching. Your frequency change approved. Oh, I almost forgot. Your frequency change approved. And see you in the next one.